It's the longing of my heart to sing your praise every day. Yeah. It's the longing of my soul to worship you always. Yeah. It's the longing of my heart to sing your praise every day. Yeah, yeah. It's the longing of my soul to worship you always. You satisfy me with grace, and you cover me with mercy. You beautify me with love. Oh my God, you are all I need. Almighty Father, original Papa, you are my desire. You are my desire. Almighty Father, original Papa, you are my desire. You are my desire. I go play my molo. I go play my guitar to my number one desire. You are my desire. I go play my molo. I go play my guitar to my number one desire. You are my desire.
Okay, Original God by G. Wills. I discovered this song this year, sometime probably August or September, August, or August, September, which of them comes first. And let me know, like, this is one song that when I'm listening to it, I'm tempted to dance on the roadside. Yes, I really love this song. And yes, whenever I play it, it just changes the atmosphere for me. It's a very, very happy, hearty song. So this is Original Baba or Original God by G. Wills, and it's the song that we're using today for our intro song. It's our intro song for today, I beg. So let's write into today's intro. No, not intro. If you are regular on this platform, you should know what you are going into. But if today is your first time, okay, you are going to find out what you are actually going to celebrate first before our intro talk. Drum roll. Congratulations. Welcome to the month of December. Oh my goodness, who is feeling as excited as I'm feeling? Welcome. Congratulations. In fact, you need a lot of congratulations for making it to this month. Oh my goodness. Wow. God has been so good. Wow. If not for anything, this is God's great mercy that we are alive today. So welcome to this new fresh month like fresh bread. You know, this is the last month of 2021, and wow, it's such a great thing to finally be here. And not for you, not just for you, for me. I am glad to at least say the 12th congratulations on Rosecast. Like, this is the 12th month, and God has been helping me since the beginning of this year. I've always been able to say my month congratulations. So I'm so grateful to have said the 12th one for this year, and I'm very excited. Congratulations, said sometime last year, 2020, probably around March or April. I can't remember around the time, but what initiated this pattern was when the corona hit, and literally it was I just felt that okay, I need to congratulate every listener for being able to make it regardless of the lockdown. And yes, it has become a tradition, and I'm so happy and excited to say this to you. Congratulations for making it. And as I will always say, even if you're not listening to this podcast on the 1st of December, if you are listening to it in another year, at least that meant that you survived this time, and that's a great thing to be grateful for. This year, my congratulating note has not been really coming on the first day, but I wanted to be very intentional. I wanted to make this podcast on the 1st of December. And also, my congratulatory note always comes on a random post, or usual random on roastcast, but I wanted to just make today's post or today's podcast attached to a topic. Yes. So yes. Congratulations. Please just say that to someone close to you. Congratulations for making it here. So let's write into today's talk. So, intro talk as usual. Today's topic, you should have seen the topic by now and you'll be wondering, what is this girl trying to say? Or like, what is today's topic all about? Yes, the intro talk is just a place where you get a preview of what this podcast is about. So at least you can start thinking up, if the topic is not very clear, you can start thinking up of what today's podcast is about. So this podcast, it came as a result of my personal, as usual, sorting out. Like I've already said before, the things I share here are in a terminology I call I'm forgetting my terminology. I've forgotten it too. But there was a way I described the kind of podcast I share here. I think you see I explained that in Unashamed and some of my other podcasts. Is a way that I share personal stuff, but in a very in an organized way. Now I'm not coming to tell you every of my life problems or every single thought that I have in my head, but I'm actually coming to share what I'm thinking about in a way that it's going to be useful for you and also for me when I decide to listen to the podcast again. So today's podcast is based on certain very important things that I've been reviewing in my life, and as someone that is getting older, as someone that I can call myself an adult, the thoughts that I've been thinking about and in regards to my life and all. So I do believe it's going to be very relevant to anyone in my age group or probably even older than I am. And even if you are younger, I think it's going to also be very helpful and useful to you. So you'll be wondering, this girl, you did not say anything about the podcast. Oh, sorry. You have to continue to hear what I have to say. Okay. Simultaneously, today I started Blogmas series on my blog. Like I've said multiple times, and if you listen to the last podcast before this one, that last random for November, I talked about the fact that Blogmas series was started in 2019 on my blog, and this edition will be the third edition, and yes, it's simultaneously starting with this podcast. Like this podcast is being released on the day I'm starting the Blogmas series. So if you want to know what that's about, and if you are too lazy to listen to random to know what it's about, just click the link attached to this podcast. The first option, the deeper look, which is my blog, will send you straight to my blog page where you can start following up. And don't forget to subscribe. If you are listening to this podcast, if you have been a regular here, please subscribe. I need your subscription. Yes, I do need a subscription, and it would be nice for me to just know how many people are being affected and how many people I can keep a tab or that are following this podcast. So with that being said, I apologize if this intro talk did not give you any expo. I want you to listen to the podcast. So let's right into today's topic. So you are someone like me that has reached a unique age, and probably you are still under your parents' roof. You are still trying to earn a living, or let me say that you are not, like, maybe you may not be under your parents' roof, but you are still depending on your parents for support. Now, see, as I'm getting older, I'm just realizing how really tough life is, like really how seriously we need to just, there's a level of maturity that is needed to deal with life and its challenges. Now, let me be very honest to say that as a young person, as I was growing up, I sort of really felt that I was older than my age in terms of how I thought and all. And somewhere, some place in my heart, I really tried my best to plan ahead so that by the time I reach this age that I am, I would not have to struggle with certain things I saw around me or things that I've had people say many times. And I won't say I really succeeded that much. Actually, many factors also played in me not really attaining my goal as I wanted to. However, I would say that I'm so grateful that at least I had a sort of perception of just trying to get my life together on time and having a vision of what I wanted from my life, because I would say at least it has made things better for me. Yes, I'm not really in where I would have wanted to be at my age, but I would say that at least I have a platform to grow, and that I'm grateful for. Now, I'm saying this for those that are younger. If you are really like in your teens and you're listening to this podcast, I just want to encourage you that if you have good plans, if you have great plans to secure your future, you are not too young to start something. You are not too young to start planning and preparing yourself, because let me just tell you, there's no best age to start planning your life, because the older you get, the tougher you see things are. And when you are young, if you're in a proper setting, it is normal to expect to be taken care of. But the older you get, even if your parents are taking care of you, at some point they expect you to start taking care of self and lessen their burden, which is not wrong on their own side. So if you are a younger person, if you are in your early 20s, you are in your early teens, you are in your middle teens or late teens, please, there's nothing wrong in starting to prepare your life and future, because please, it's going to help you. The good thing about it is that even if things don't work out as you are planning, at least you can fall on something. You are not falling on empty space or empty ground. There's a place for you to still build. And this may involve you taking your education very seriously. It also involve you taking your life seriously. Skills that you are learning at this point in your life, take them seriously. Don't joke with it. Take your school seriously, please. Take whatever very tangible you are doing at this point very seriously, because I'm telling you, you're not going to regret doing so. So as I was saying, I was just like looking at just my life, as reflecting and realizing that, well, girl, you've not really reached most of your goals that you planned for your life from a very tender age. And the truth is that apart from every other person that may be expecting a lot from you, there should be a healthy amount of expectation you should have for yourself. Yes, because that helps you to know where you are going to involve yourself and your time in. It also helps you to know where you can put your money in. It makes you to know who and who you can be associating and spending your time with. So yes, so for those of us that are in the middle age, if I say middle age and people think I'm very old, please, I'm not that very old, but I'm not going to let out my age. You can guess it. But for those of us that are already in our middle 20s, late 20s, early 30s, late 30s, and if you're up to your 40s listening to this podcast, see, getting older is not easy, and it entails a lot of things. And even as the economy in our time seems to be very tricky, it doesn't mean that there are people that are not prospering or there are people that are not really doing well. But I'll say the competition has gotten tougher, owing to the fact that more people are exposed to what few people used to know before. Knowledge before used to be restricted to some group of people, but now a lot of people are accessing the same knowledge, and so competition has gotten tighter. However, it doesn't mean that we cannot all do well in our own respective fields. So yes, now you may be saying this may be like a sub intro. I think maybe you should be getting a hint of what this podcast is about today. So let's just try. You see, you have to continue. You have to stay for you to enjoy the complete full whatever I'm sorry of what this podcast is about. But like I said, yes, I'm going to share certain thoughts in my heart, and I'm telling you, I'm not making this podcast only for you. I'm also making it for myself, because sometimes when you are sharing knowledge, you may think you know that much, but sometimes when you pause and maybe read through the things you've shared, if you're a writer, and if you're a podcaster like me, or if you are someone that inspires people, sometimes it's good for you to take a pause and even look at the things you've shared to people, and it could also be helpful to you sometimes when you have actually forgotten that I was able to share this kind of amount, this type of knowledge to other people. There are times you too may need as well. Let's ride in. Let's continue. So cracking your head actually means sitting down to sort out what you want to do with your life and starting from somewhere. The truth is that no matter how much a topic about building your life or having a plan of, having a specific plan for your life is talked about, no matter how much these topics are talked about, we cannot talk about them. We cannot overemphasize them. Like what I already shared in the intro part of this podcast. The best time for a person to start having a sort of understanding is as early as possible, because life is not very predictable, and there is no guarantee that the older you get, the better you can grab situations around you. I would say from a very personal point of view, I really had a strong sense of what I wanted to do with my life. However, I wouldn't say that it helped in terms of helping me to accomplish every single thing I wanted to do at certain ages. However, it gave me a form. It gave my life a structure and a form. And even though I wasn't able to hit all the targets I wanted or all the targets that I hoped to hit, at least it gave me a platform to start something, to start creating something, to start at least making steps towards the right direction. I will make a comparison with aiming for an A. The way you study to get an A for an exam, it's not the same way you study to get a C or study to get D if it's permissible. Or let me use another example. The way you study to have a first class is not the same way you study to just pass the university. The hard work you put in both of them are different. And I always encourage people that when you want to aim for something, just aim as much as possible for the best. Because yes, they may not become a complete guarantee that you may reach that, but at least you know you are going to fall on a better platform. For example, if you're aiming for an A and okay, things happened and you weren't able to get an A, at least you get a B. Worst, you get a C. I'm not saying this is definite, but over time, over experience, I've realized that it makes it easier for you to at least escape, more terrible situations. So at least have a form for your life. Have a sort of understanding of what you want your life to accomplish, what you want your life to look like. Now, when you have that perception, when you have that understanding, you look around you what you have and if they support what you are looking for. But because you have a proper perception of what you are looking for, at least it gives you a shape and structure in how you can build. If you listen to the other podcast I mentioned, the last podcast, not the random, the last podcast I did on impact, this podcast is actually going in the same direction. So it's like sitting down and asking yourself, what can I do with this my life? Like, what can I do? What can I make out of it? I hear people say things like business is not for everyone. Some people, education is not for everyone. Certain things are not for everyone. So it kind of looks like, okay, you need to look for a place where you can do something, where you can at least grow. And it's not a guarantee that even if you find a place that you can grow or a place that suits you, things are going to be easy. But at least you have a form and structure for your life. So when I was thinking about this topic, crack your brain, it's more like sit down and, if not for anything, talk to yourself. If not for anything, look deep within and see the things that you can do, things that you are able to do. Now, I always make a disclaimer. I'm not speaking as someone that is not struggling as well, or someone that is not actually still building, someone that's not actually, I'm actually still building, I'm actually still learning more and more about the things that I can do and how I can grow on them. See, your brain is not empty, if not for anything. As you have listened to this podcast, it is just to tell you that your brain is not empty. A personal belief I really hold on to is that we have more than one thing that we can be good at. It's either maybe you don't like the other thing you are good at, or you've not yet really realized that you are good at something in this manner. But I believe that the way God made us, He put more than one thing that we are good at and we can do very well. Now, it will be like maybe someone that knows me, like, is it because you can do more than one thing? No, it's not because of that. But if you observe very well, you realize that you can do more than one thing, you can do more than two things, and possibly you could even do more than three things, and you can do them well. It's just that it's not taking your time to look. Now, crack your brain is sitting down and bringing out those ideas that you can build on. Bringing out those ideas that can be a platform to grow from. See, your head is not a coconut head. You see, when you break a coconut, it is water that comes, coconut water. And let me even say that it's not all the coconut water that are sweet. Sometimes the coconut must have spoiled and then the water is sour, or the water is just plain. But there are some coconut that when you break them, wow, the water is refreshing. It's very sweet and nice. But your head is not like that. God did not make your head a coconut head. See, if people have been telling you that you have a coconut head, you are a dummy. The fact that you're listening to the podcast, I want to reverse that statement and say that you do not have coconut head. Oh. But to add spice to that, just hold your head and tell yourself, I don't have coconut head. This podcast is just to let you know that there are things that you can bring up. There are ideas that I can bring up. And let me even tell you, see, this is the truth. There is no idea you are having now that is completely very new. However, the thing about idea is who executes them faster, is who is able to make a way with it. And also, because ideas are very vast, see, not all ideas would be able to really blow, like we often say, like, you know, the Nigerian way will say blow. Not every idea may become very fruitful, but as long as it's an idea that can be built upon, it can form a premise for other ideas. Another thing again may be that you may not be somebody that is very quick at maybe creating a lot of ideas, but the thing is that you can be inspired to maybe build on what someone else has started, not stealing their work. I'm not encouraging stealing anyone's work, but like an inspiration for something. Maybe you may not be very creative to start up a very new idea on your own, but you can build on what someone else has started and use that as a form of inspiration for yourself. Now, you know, creating ideas often is very tasking, or building an idea is very, very tasking. And sometimes, you know, if you are someone that is not very, very courageous, if you're not someone that feels very discouraged easily, it's easier to just look at all the negative aspects of an idea without even trying it out. See, this is one aspect of my life that I've been learning to just make more effort on, because the truth is that sometimes if you do not try, you never know the outcome of something. And sometimes it is when you decide to face your fears about something, those are the times you are able to make some certain amount of progress. Like I said, not every idea may be very fruitful, and some ideas may be very frustrating to work on. But if you give some ideas some chance, like I already said, they form a platform for other ideas to also bring out. And to be honest, idea need people, and sometimes when you are making ideas or creating ideas, or when you have been inspired, you may not necessarily have the people that may help you and all, but the fact that it is something that you have in mind and something that you are also willing to work on, by God's grace, as I am also believing, the people that will help with those ideas will come along the way. If you're observant now, this podcast is not about telling you how to make ideas or anything. This podcast is just to let you know that you have the ability to start something. Now, and like I already said, if you aren't able to start something, you have the ability to at least be inspired, to be encouraged to start at least from where someone else has started, or what someone has already done. You have the ability to start from there. Another thing again may be this: maybe you may not be able to start something on your own, but when you have ideas or you're in an environment where your ideas are needed, please do not hurry it, especially when you know that when you look at your life, maybe in the next 5-10 years, you may not be able to carry the idea to anywhere. You may not be able to develop it in any way. If you're in an organization, if you're in a place where your ideas can be cultivated, where your ideas will add an improvement, do not hold it. Please share it. That's another way of making your, or let's say, a way of improving yourself. From that environment, if you share what can improve where you are in, it's also a way of improving yourself, and you also don't know the amount of opportunities you may gain as well. So I'm not saying this as per everybody go and start creating something for yourself. If you're in a place where your idea can contribute a great deal, please do share it. As I've already said in the previous podcast, I'm going to share a place from the Bible that will support today's topic, and today's Bible passage is coming from Ecclesiastes 11, and I'm going to be reading from verse 1 to 6. I'm reading from the King James Version. So if you have another version, open it and read though. But me, I like King James Version, so please pardon me. So I'm just going to quickly read it and just give a little from there. So that's from verse 1 to 6. It says, "Cast thy bread upon the waters, for thou shalt find it after many days. Give a portion to 7, and also to 8, for thou knowest not what evil shall be upon the earth. If the clouds be full of rain, they empty themselves upon the earth. And if the tree fall towards the south or toward the north, in the place where the tree falleth, there shall it be. He that observeth the wind shall not sow, and he that regardeth the clouds shall not reap. As thou knowest not what is the way of the Spirit, nor how the bones do grow in the womb of her that is with child, even so thou knowest not the works of God who maketh all." Then verse 6, "In the morning sow thy bread, in the evening withhold not thy hand, for thou knowest not whether shall prosper, either this or that, or whether the both shall be alike good." Verse 6 seems to be the main verse. It's encouraging us that please do not be too afraid to just expand yourself. Like I said about ideas earlier, not every idea will blow, and doesn't mean that because you started, everything will just blow up and you start getting all your dividends at once. But if you don't even try, you never even know what may happen. But when you are starting, you go with the mind that okay, it may not blow as I want it to blow, but at least I tried something. See, one of the very compensatory feeling that you can have is having that feeling of at least I tried. As someone who is very, very cautious, who makes a lot of calculation before she does anything, I can tell you that in recent time, as I've been trying my best to make more trials, the feeling of at least I tried is a very compensatory feeling. And just looking at your life and looking back and like, okay, yes, these things did not work out, but at least I gave it a try. At least I made an effort. It's very compensatory, and if not for anything, the lessons that you can learn from this kind of experiences is very, very, very tangible, and is a worthwhile experience. It's from this kind of places that you can encourage others, you can advise others, and if not for anything, you can also build for the future as well. So today's podcast is not a motivational speech. I don't mean to just spark in you a sort of ginger you and make you feel like, okay, let's just start anyhow. The truth is that when you're having an idea, you need to sit down and look into what you are thinking about and make research. In fact, when people say make research, it sometimes sounds very bogus. See, as someone that is very simple-minded when it comes to technical stuff, in fact, I've only been learning more about the internet in recent times, and that is based on my experimental pattern. I love to make a lot of experiments. whenever I used to see people say things about research the market, do this or that, it confuses me. So if you're in the category like me, I understand you very fully. But when I say research, I kind of just mean that if it means going to the internet to just search about the thing, ask questions, it can help. Because an idea came into your mind doesn't mean that you should just start running with it without making an appropriate or having a proper understanding of what you are trying to create. As a writer, one of the things that I do that I can term as a research is that when a topic comes to, when the title of a book comes to my mind, I go to the internet to check on what books already have a similar topic or already have that name, because sometimes, like I said, the idea is not only coming to you, it's also coming to other people as well. It depends on who is faster with it. So when I have a title for a book, either fiction or non-fiction, I go online to check if it's already a title of a book or the other books, how they may sound. So by doing that, if I see that there's already a book with that title, I rephrase my title. Or if I see other books that have a similar title, then I will know how to tweak my own to make it unique. So because an idea came to your mind doesn't mean that it's only coming to you. So you need to just check what other ideas out there are similar to your own and how probably you can make a little change to your own. And if your idea is completely new, then good for you. However, you need to also look at what you have in hand and know how you can implement that in whatever you are trying to create. And actually, if your idea is so coming from a place that's already vast, where there are many people, it would be good to just look at one or two, or if you can look up to 10 platforms. I'm just saying 10 because 10 is a lot, and see what they are doing and maybe how you could actually be inspired from their own, or how you can make your own idea quite unique from theirs as well. I'm a lover of originality, and I love as much as possible to do whatever I'm doing as original as possible. But like I already said like 3 times now, that an idea coming to you doesn't mean you are the only one coming with it. So there's nothing wrong in just finding out, other people that may have a similar idea as yours. So this podcast is not meant to do a motivational topic on you. No, so I just want to make that disclaimer so you don't just rush into things carelessly because one guy made a podcast saying that you should crack your brain for ideas. When you crack your brain, you need to still put down the ideas down and look thoroughly into it. See, don't just run with just any idea that comes, either from you or from another person. Like I said, you can also actually be inspired by someone else's idea. Please go down and look into these things very well. Do not just run with any idea that comes because you already felt that, okay, this is very strong, this is great, everybody's talking about, let me go into it. You have to also look into what you are trying to rush into first, because if you have a proper understanding of that idea or what you are looking for, what you are hoping to achieve with that idea, it gives whatever you are doing more form and more structure, and it also determines how firm what you are doing is. And anybody observing you, anybody looking at you, anybody deciding to want to participate with you, we know that at least you have a form and a proper structure. I know you need money. I know you need support. I am there as well. I know how you feel. I know you need a lot of things to make that idea a success. But honestly, do not stall yourself for too long because everything is not perfect in place. Do not stall yourself, because the honest truth is that where you are now, there are certain opportunities that you are having now that you may not actually get them later on. I'm not saying this to say that your life should not be better. No. As I'm making this podcast, I'm having bigger plans for Rosecast and every of my platform. But I'm grateful that at least I'm starting with something with the hope of getting something better. So if you don't have, let me just say this. If at most you have nothing, can you just be writing your ideas down somewhere? Can you be protecting your ideas at least? I want to advise that if you have an idea that does not seem very feasible now and you don't have like a lot of support for that idea, just keep on gathering information and building on it in the privacy of your house. Yes, I know that, like I said, the idea may not, you're not the only one that may be getting the idea. However, there is something that you can always do differently. There was a time that a driver was taking me some 2 years ago, and he was saying something that struck me, and he was like, even if you are the one that starts something, as long as you are the one doing it, it's going to be different. So if at worst you have nothing to start with, can you just write down the idea somewhere in your book? Be praying about it, be trusting God for it, that one day it becomes a reality in your life. And I also advise that if it's an idea that is very precious and you don't really have an environment that can culture it, like I was saying in the other parts of this podcast, that maybe if you're not in an environment that they may need your idea, don't be too quick to share it with everybody. This our world, this world we are in, people are willing to steal your idea and not give you a credit for it. So don't be too quick to share it with just anyone, or just everybody. If you know you don't even have a proper way to start it, can you just keep it in a private place and keep praying about it, keep making your research, keep writing down about it, writing down on what you hope to accomplish. Then when you start having a proper platform to start, then you can start picking it from there, and then relevant people that will be helpful for it can come in. Because in the name that, okay, you don't have a platform for what you are looking for, you go share it with someone who will be malicious enough to steal your idea, to work on it and don't give you credit, that can be as hurtful as anything. So I would encourage that at least there's something you can do. You can write it down, if not for anything. So yes. So I know that many of we young people are really trying our best because of there are a lot of things that are motivating us to move ahead. So this is an encouragement for you, for myself as well. Yeah, and if you're already building on your idea like I am, if you're already building on ideas that you've been having, yes, I'm also encouraging myself as I'm encouraging you, and just keep on dreaming of that future. There's something that looks simple but is very prophetic, and it's something that I'm trusting God to keep on doing for myself, is keep on picturing that life that you want. Keep on picturing that life that God has shown to you. Keep on picturing that future that you've had in your heart from a very tender age. As simple as that may look like, it's very powerful. Closing your eyes and just picturing it in your head and praying it in your life and trusting God for it. I remember sometime last week, I just kept on repeating certain things that were some very powerful words to myself. And I tell you, at that point, I was feeling an opposite of what I was saying. But those words were very powerful, and I know they are doing something. When we pray, prayers, there are prayers you can make. You are praying for yourself by speaking to yourself. So please keep on speaking that beautiful future God has given you. Keep on dreaming about it. Keep on picturing yourself, and at the same time, keep on making effort to work towards it. By God's grace, when that dream one day will become a reality. Just as in Psalm 126, it says that when the Lord turned the captivity of Zion, they were like they that dreamed. So dreams can come to reality, and as we trust God, He gives us the grace and strength. One of the things I tell God sometimes is that, God, you gave me this idea, so I'm trusting you to make it a reality. I may not know how, I may not know the complete way. I may still be a novice, I may still be struggling my way, but you gave me this idea, and I trust that you are going to make it a reality. So I'm just sharing with you some of the things I do for myself, and I do believe that they would be very relevant to you as well. So how do you feel after listening to this podcast? I want to get your feedback. Please do send your feedback. If you cannot send it via a voice message on this platform, send it to me via the link attached to this podcast platform, the contact place. Send me your response to that, please. Let me get to know what you have to say. I'll be so happy to hear you. And soon I'm going to be adding a very new button to the link. Yes, hopefully I'm working on certain things, and I'm very excited and eager to share with everyone that is listening, anyone that is any of my platform. I'm eager and excited to share them with you. By God's grace, many things are coming up, and I'm just trying to see how much I can do to make these things a reality. And I'll be very happy to partner with anyone that will be willing to partner and will have the same vision as I do for my platform and for the things that I am sharing. So yes, I would love to get your feedback on this podcast and suggestions, questions, or corrections, or anything you want to say concerning this podcast. I would love to get that from you. And with that being said, we are going to go to the outro song as usual. If you don't want to continue our song, I'm just going to tell you bye-bye. You know, this is my tradition. But if you want to continue the song, let's go and you just get a little bit of the song and get it for yourself as well. So for those that are willing to listen to our outro song, let's continue. But if this is where you are saying your goodbye, please take your goodbye now and have a great day. Okay. Before you go to the outro song, have you clicked subscribe? Okay. If you haven't, have you clicked the link to attach this podcast? Okay, I just want to remind you that you should please do not forget to do that so you don't miss out on other things. And like I was saying, that there will be something new added to the link attached to this podcast. So there's a possibility that by the time you are already on listening to this podcast, listening to this podcast, it must have been attached already. So yes, sorry, I had to just add this part, so I will remind you so you don't forget. Okay, now you can move to the outro song.
It's the longing of my heart to sing your praise every day. It's the longing of my soul to worship you always. You satisfy me and you cover me with your mercy. You beautify me with love. Oh my God, you are all I need. Almighty Father, say, original Papa, Come on, say, you are my desire, Almighty Father, original Papa. Oh, my desire, you are my desire, Almighty Father, you are my desire, Almighty Father, okay, Papa,
Okay, so if you're enjoying that song, go download it. It is Original God by G. Wills. Yes, it's a really happy song, and if you're having an occasion, you're just in a good mood, or you want to get into a good mood, I really think it's a song that will be very helpful for you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to this point. Thank you. Do not forget to share to others. Please do not forget to subscribe as well. As many are listening, I need your subscription. Please do subscribe. And please do not forget to share to others so that at least they enjoy what you are listening as well. So with that being said, until next time on Roscast, stay safe and God bless. Bye-bye.